Alrighty, welcome everybody. I am 804 here. We are going to be playing some Bant mass manipulation today. This is almost the exact deck that won SCG Worcestershire today, or over this past weekend. Go ahead and change the name here to Bant. And the only actual difference is I'm running one Ugin, the Ineffable, instead of Entrancing Melody, so a little bit less interaction, but Ugin has proven to be very powerful in the format, and kind of wanted one more thing to do with my mana, as this is a ramp deck. So we do have the standard 4 Paradise Druid, 4 Growth Spiral. I chose not to include Incubation Druid because I don't think we necessarily need 12 ramp spells on the 2-drop slot, and I often find, especially in the aggro matchups, that Incubation Druid kind of either gets shocked, or we kind of wish that we had some of the more card advantage elements, so Growth Spiral ends up replacing itself as well as ramping you, which helps out a lot because this deck really needs to get into the late game, and one of our biggest weaknesses are those very early aggressive decks like Mono Red and Mono White, and it's not really like Incubation Druid really does that great of a job of blocking anyways. So we are going to try some traditional ranked with our Bant deck and see how it goes. So like I said, this deck did take first place at the SCG Standard Classic this past weekend. Sideboard is one card off. The gentleman who was playing it this weekend ran 2 Knight of Autumns and 1 Tolsimir. I just didn't really feel like spending the extra wild card on another Knight of Autumn, so I'm running 2 Tolsimirs instead of 1. Alright, so first game is against Sila. We will choose to be on the play. We've got a pretty good hand here, 3 lands, all of our colors, and some pretty good spells to boot, so we'll go ahead and keep this. And I think we want to play the Temple here. Maybe not. Might actually be better to play Temple Garden tapped, Hollowed Fountain, Growth Spiral, and a Temple of Mystery. That way we're paying 2 life as well as getting the tap land in as the ramp. So I believe our opponent did take, looked like 2 mulligans? Yeah. So they're on 5 cards, which is a good sign for us. Let's go ahead and play the Temple Garden tap and pass. See what they're playing. Alright, so we're looking at Gruul. Looks like a pretty aggressive start here, being that they left this untapped, so I'm thinking there's a good chance they are playing Shock, so we really don't mind that. Going ahead and play this untapped, which definitely does reveal that we have something we're going to be doing, but that's alright. So they're on Naya, so it looks like we're against the Naya Feather deck. So we'll go ahead and let this resolve. There, Growth Spiral. Put the Temple in there. Drawn from Dreams. I think we're actually... Drawn could be pretty good, but I think we're actually in the market for more lands. We need to be hitting our land drops every turn. So this turn I think I'm going to play Teferi. Going ahead and bounce the Arcanist. Hopefully we draw a land here. Yes, we do. And here we saw that they left that red mana untapped, so I really doubt that the Llanowar Elves lives. And do we really need the 5th mana next turn? I suppose it couldn't hurt. Let's go on ahead and play the Elf. So we are at 5 mana this turn. Again, opponent did take a mulligan 2-5 this past turn, so not missing any land drops though. Still got a game of Magic going. So he replays the Arcanist. Does he have a Sandlet Sprint, or are we going to get shocked? More likely the shock, right? Yeah.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Not too bad. So we've loaded up here on the Paradise Druids. Don't necessarily think it's worth it to play. So on the one hand, if we play the Paradise Druid, we're opening ourselves up to them resolving one of their big spells. There's a good chance that all he has in his hand right now are combat tricks. But we're not really interested in blocking anyways. I think we pass. I think we try to hold up some mana here and potentially counter a big play. Ideally, he would play something like Feather that we can counter this turn. Season of Growth. I think that's worth countering. Let's get a shock in response. Yeah, looks like it. Definitely counter that. And it's possible that he was just playing the Season of Growth to bait out this Frilled Mystic, but I don't think we can really let that resolve and allow him to start scrying on every one of his combat tricks here. Okay, so this is shock. Go ahead and let this one through. Alright, that's a pretty good draw here, so we'll go ahead and Prison Realm the Arcanist here. Go ahead and grab that guy. Llanowar Elves. I think we're more on the market for lands here. I might be wrong on that, but ideally, we can start picking up some lands here. We will be able to play, if he does leave this Llanowar Elves alive, we will have the opportunity to play a pretty big Crisis next turn. Gain some life. Here we go. So I think we can go on ahead and just play Crisis here for maximum value. It's a pretty good draw. Going ahead and play the Temple. I think we're okay with that. It's not great, but the more lands we can get, the better these mass manipulations become. Let's see what he's got. It's possible he could have Collision Colossus. I'm not actually sure if those decks run Collision Colossus, but definitely take care of our flyer. So he passed doing nothing with that 5 mana, so that's a good sign for us. Legionnaire. Ambush. It's a good card. So with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it costs right now 6 to grab that Legionnaire, and I do think we do that. So is this God's willing? Nope. And I think we'll get in. Good sign for us. Start by getting in. Going ahead and play a Hollow Mountain tapped. Cast it to Fairy.
Sorry I'm late.
Is there anything worth returning to my hand? I think we'll just submit 0 and then draw the card. And end our turn. There we go. Alright, good game 1. So we're up against an aggressive Naya Feather deck. So Night of Autumn would hit Season of Growth, allow us to gain some life, as well as put up a decent sized blocker. Shifting Ceratops doesn't help out too much, being that they're not playing blue. Even though it's got a big body, a lot of the times it feels like they're just going to have so many combat tricks. But Ether Gust, on the other hand, seems pretty great. So I think, what do we take out here? Frilled Mystic doesn't seem particularly powerful. It seems a little bit slow against a deck this aggressive. They're going to be just shoving creatures down my face, so it's possible that that Frilled Mystic is just a little bit too slow. We might actually consider cutting a Mass Manipulation as well. It's not like they've got, you know, a bunch of planeswalkers and really high value creatures. Most of their things are just are mostly there to be targets for their combat tricks. So I think we'll cut one Mass Manipulation, maybe one Frilled Mystic. Dawn of Dreams might even be a little bit slow here. I kind of like Teferi, right? It keeps them from casting combat tricks on our turn. It might be good to actually run an extra Prison Realm in the sideboard too. Let's put 3 Gusts in. Is Time Wipe worth it? So I feel like Time Wipe's really only going to hit one creature, but let's go ahead and run with it. I guess I ran out of time sideboarding there. That was kind of crazy. Hopefully that sideboard actually went through. Ether Gust seems pretty damn good in this matchup. Hits every target, basically. I guess we'll find out. Alright. It's definitely a keepable hand. A little bit slow, but we can go Temple of Mystery into Garden, into Growth Spiral, into Teferi. Or is it correct to... Let's see, we can't do that. We won't be able to hit either of our spells requiring blue. So I think, as much as it sucks to not play Elves on 1, this is the correct play. I think we'll actually keep the Forest. Okay. So here we will play... We could actually Growth Spiral into Temple Garden plus Llanowar Elves. Is that worth it? And then next turn to Fairy. Let's go for it. I'm going to pay the 2 life and play Fear. If we draw on top land, we can miss the next turn, which seems pretty good. Maybe best case scenario here is they spend all their mana for something like Feather, and we just bounce it. Maybe we don't want them to have Feather in their deck. Okay. I'm not sure what the land count looks like in this deck. Okay, so they did miss a land there. And a part of me feels like we should try to punish that as much as possible, right? So we'll go ahead and play this. It's very...
I know my responsibility.
Bounce.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Draw, and Paradise Druid. It might have been right to play Nissa there, especially being that we have a second copy of it in our hand anyways. He did keep that card that he scryed on top, so I'm assuming it's a land. Yeah, so that was definitely a land, because he missed his land drop last turn. I'm wondering if it was right to play Nissa that past turn. So we're not looking at Samut here. Scry to top again, so you like that card. We're not looking at Samut Sprint, that is. Okay. Season of Growth seems like so much fun. Alrighty, let's go on ahead and use plus to fairy here.
I'll protect you.
Play Temple, see what we're working with. I don't actually think we want Breeding Pool at this point. I think we want a little bit more interaction. Play the Nissa. Snag a land here. Tap the land for a breeding. I'm sorry, for another Paradise Druid. And yeah, we're just gonna try and flood the board here, provide as many blockers as we possibly can. I'm not sure how many of their combat tricks provide trample, but so he hits his land. Okay, Legionnaire's a pretty good one. So I'm assuming he tries to deal with the Planeswalkers here. We might actually just be okay with that, honestly. Shot. Ambush. Okay.
It's only a matter of time.
So he swings, plays another ambush probably. It's a pretty good play. Interesting, so he hits the land. Okay. I think we probably just let this go through.
I must go.
There we go. So which card would we rather have here? Do we have anything with the Arcanist? Growth Spiral? It doesn't seem all that great. I think we grab... the Legionnaire here. Get in with our squad of rampers here. So can he just keep that? Okay, no. So he does exile, double season of growth. That's pretty nasty. So we probably should board in that Knight of Autumn. That seems like a pretty good idea here. Whew. That's pretty next level. Okay. That's such a cool combo. So what we have is Defiant Strike for white or blue. So it doesn't end this at least. This one's not looking good for the own team here.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Guess we play the elves. It's possible that he just bings us for 13 here. But he does have to deal with a fair amount of stuff here. We do have a little Llanowar elves. Okay, well that might do it. At least the only thing he's got in his graveyard is the Defiant Strike. Right now, anyways. Guess he could have removal spells, but doesn't really want to leave Nissa up, and he doesn't really want to leave all my creatures up. But he could also just, I'm pretty sure he could just hit me for 13. He might not be able to, but I mean, even just something like Shock would beat our board up pretty bad. He could hit both of the Paradise Druids, as well as I don't think he played a land this turn yet. He's definitely going to draw some lands with how many cards he's got in there. So you like that one. I think a couple of these spells need to be removal, right? Maybe a Dumbri's Ambush, another Arcanist. Okay, well that might also do it as well. Truth be told here. Right, because now he gets to cast another Defiant Strike, at least. Played the land tapped, so that's good. And here we just block the Legionnaire if that's who he puts the counter on, which I think would make sense because it would kill Nissa at least. Okay, so he's just going to attack with that. Okay, by Breeding Pool. No blockers.
I will endure.
Was that lethal? I don't know, but we'll take it. bunch of stuff there. Alright. So it doesn't look like we're going to be killing too many creatures with this deck. But that's alright. Let's go ahead and get into another one. I'm not actually sure if we would have won that turn. We had 2 Paradise Druids, 3 Llanowar Elves. He blocks both of the Druids, 3 Elves get through, plus, okay, yeah, plus another, yeah, so I guess we did have it. We'll choose to be on the play here. I think we keep this. That's the dream right there. Kind of sleeves are those? Those are pretty cool. Alright, so let's go on ahead and he's playing green, so maybe we'll go on ahead and play this tapped. Play our Druid. Next turn we can Nissa, that seems pretty good. Play a Fatal Crisis. Okay. I'll tell you something, you're not gonna like this, man. Nice. Alright. I don't know how he was gonna come back from that one. He needed to have a whole lot to deal with that. So, all we saw was Urban Utopia. So, some version of a ramp deck, I guess. I'm thinking Negate might be good here. I just don't know the decks that play Urban Utopia, but I'm assuming they're heavily based on non-creature spells. And with that being the case, maybe we cut Entrancing Melody as well as the Mass Manipulations. That seems like a pretty drastic cut, to be honest, but at the same time, I don't know that many decks that play Urban Utopia alongside creatures, so... he was playing green, so it's possible that Gust is pretty good in this matchup. Is this a Tamiya matchup? It's probably a fairly grindy matchup, I would imagine. I don't know that Knight of Autumn is all that great. It does kill enchantments, and we always saw that game was in Urban Utopia, but I think it's between Tamiyo and the Gus, and I think I want a little bit more interaction here. I think, our deck is built to go late anyways, so we'll see. We'll get a better idea at least of what he's doing this game. I think we can keep this. It's not particularly great. This might have actually been another cut, but I want some interactions, some interactive spells. I think we're okay to play this. Considering we don't actually know what he's doing yet. So he's on Simic. Well, let's go ahead and get in for one. And play a Hallowed Fountain. There's Paradise Druid out there, so he's got to be doing something funky here. And it's also possible that he's playing a Nissa deck himself, so I like that. So here, I think we go with Hallowed Fountain. I don't know that our life total is particularly important here. Does this resolve? Yeah, that's fair. At the very least, we keep him off Growth Spiral there. Kind of sucks that got countered, but... Blast Zone. Okay. Alright. We can deal with that. And we're gonna have to. Gift of Paradise. Very cool. So here we probably just play the old Temple, like that. Narset.
Overwhelming.
Take it. Get in for 3. So this comes in with 1 counter. He has to pay 3 to blow it up. So the tough thing is here is that Blast Zone, I think he can actually just blow up our Krasis with it, which would be pretty bad. Don't really want to run Dawn of Dreams into another negate, but we did already get through 1. I think I'm gonna. It's gonna really suck if this Dawn of Dreams gets negated, but or spell pierced even. Well, what we can do is play this on. Does that matter? No, I guess it doesn't. Does it? All right. Let's hope that this doesn't. Okay, there we go. I like that. So we definitely like to Fairy, and you know what? Ugin seems like a pretty big dude here. It's possible we should have grabbed. There were some pretty good options there, but gift. Narset.
That's present. I have just the trick for this.
So he's got the negate. So here, I think we. Well, hold on now. So let's say we play Teferi, which he has to counter. We have 5 mana up, so that's not actually enough to really do anything worthwhile. So we'll go on ahead and smack the Narset here.
I have reached my limit.
Play a Hollowed Fountain, and we can go on ahead and just draw some cards. Those are decent. So if he wants to pay the mana to blow up the Krasis, I think we're okay with it. He's running a lot of lands, so is it I don't think it's a Scapeship deck. I'm assuming it's like a Simic ramp deck with lots of Gift of Paradises, Utopia Sprawls. So I guess there's a good chance a Manipulation or something is coming our way. But I tell you what, he's gonna have to deal with this bad boy first. Yep. So we will go on ahead and swing in with the old Krasis and play a Temple Garden. Send this Ugin. If that last card is a negate, it's a negate. I can't do anything about it. But I don't want to play another Krasis into that Blast Zone. And
I came into being long before your kind ever existed.
so hopefully this next turn is a Manipulation, but very well could be.
Secrets manifest before you.
So maybe he can't actually. Yeah, so maybe he can't actually kill a Krasis. So that might have been a bad play to not play another Krasis, because this already comes in at 1. So it can't kill things with Convertiment, it costs 0. Is that right? Charge counter on it. Yeah, 0 is not equal to 1 that it comes in on. So what are we looking at here? Manipulation. Omniscience? What is going on right now?
past
question
is
this outcome.
unwritten.
Why did that kill this? Somebody explain this to me. What? So would that not have been 2? Why would that kill my Krasis? Oh, because Krasis is in an X-Spell. Okay. That makes significantly more sense. Well, I don't want him to have all of my goodies, so I'll play this turn, and we'll pass a turn. It's possible we didn't want to give him another turn to draw. Mass manipulation. Right now he can grab 2 or 3 things. That's pretty cool.
Hone your prowess.
Okay, then I guess we prison on this.
I must train harder.
I don't think we really need that. We got 5 mana, so we can. What a game. Alright, so he's got not enough mana for Omniscience yet, which is pretty good. He will next turn though, unless, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we definitely want to kill. Okay, I don't think it matters. Definitely want to kill these Gift of Paradises. Get those things right on out of there. So that puts him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I actually think it's just right to play this here.
My presence alone will guide you towards victory. Be gone, interloper.
Swing in here. So now he's at 8 mana. Don't think he gets to play Omniscience here, nope. Going ahead and exile this card here, so we're working with. This seems good. Play a Krasis for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going ahead and slap down an 8/8. Alright, my man. It's all you. Manipulation does a lot of work here. There we go. GG's. What a game. Opponent's deck had some resiliency. Flood of Tears is just a whooping. That might actually be a fun card to run. Run on our sideboard. Let's give it one more shot without changing anything. You know, Flood of Tears is good, and I'm sure a lot of matchups like the mid-range Gruul type matchups, but it's also probably fairly dead in a couple other matchups. Yeesh. I think we got a mully this one. Just definitely not ideal, but this is a tough choice. But it's gonna suck if they're running an aggressive deck, but these other cards seem really good, so. Oh, good. That's alright. So we got here. Mono red, it looks like. No, is it? Is it Wizards? Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and play the Paradise Druid. Burning Prophet gets in. Go ahead and take it. Alright. Let's check it out. Nice. We like that. Get a life. You know. So maybe that was not the right play. Maybe it was just put it into play tapped. Yep. That's brutal. Crash through. Opponent's popping off. Gets it for 4. Yep. That's a pretty cool combo. Alright. I mean, we're just going to take such a beating this next turn. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we need a couple fatties, I think. Help block these Burning Prophets. I mean, he's definitely running more Wizards than just these two, I would imagine. But it doesn't look like he's running your typical mono red deck. So maybe it's Burning Prophets plus like some Crackling Drakes or something. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more information here. Because this game does not seem to be good. I mean, if it really is just Burning Prophets, we're gonna... Entrancing Melody would be really good. I think what we have to try to do, and it's definitely possible that we get shocked out of this, but I think this is actually our way of potentially getting out of this game. Getting out of these guys. Alright. Hopefully this doesn't get spell pierced. And we're go. We'll let him beat us in to hopefully get to, there we go. So now we know he's got Eternal Cut. It's a cool deck. He knows what we're playing. I don't think it's worth really looking for information. He wouldn't have to actually do much to kill us the next turn anyways. So, protection from blue seems pretty good, as well as being uncounterable. Tolzamir seems kind of cool. I don't know that Knight of Autumn is worth it, but could be. So in this matchup, we might not want Ugin. Ugin seems a little bit slow, and he's not, other than Kefnet, he wasn't actually playing that many permanents. Melody seems pretty good. Maybe cut a single manipulation, and Field Mystic seems pretty good against Kefnet, but kind of feels like he's going to get pretty far underneath us. Teferi. Maybe we try one Tolzamir, one Ceratops. See how that goes. It's kind of a funky matchup because he's not actually playing that many creatures. His deck seems more focused towards just using the profits for value, but we'll see. It's not a great hand, but I think we have to keep it. If we can get to that Drawn from Dreams, we'll be in business here. Opponent takes a mulligan. Even though we don't actually have a turn 3 play, I want to try and be a little bit aggressive with my mana here. So play this tap, play another elves. Probably shocks the elves we have. Nope. Go ahead and get for one. Well, like this,
Be wary of the ground water.
hopefully that force doesn't just get popped, but yeah, that's fine.
Rude.
Alrighty then.
Harness the elements.
Draw a couple cards. There we go. So he is at 9 life. He can't be playing around too much with his life total. Okay. Lava Coil. I don't actually think he has. Okay. So he'll be able to get a shock back, kill the other elf, I guess.
Try my patience. The land shall call
Get
for you.
in here and play another Graces. Alright, well, he's got to deal with a lot of stuff here. So, that always isn't going to do it. Yep. So he gets Lava Coil for this, and I don't think he can deal with everything here. Yeah, so he'll kill. There we go. Alright, so maybe negate is pretty good in this matchup. I don't actually know. Kind of felt like we got a little under him that time. Tolzimir seems pretty good though. I think we're actually going to run another Tolzimir and maybe a negate here. Let's see how that works. Because unless he's leaving a lot of mana up, and we already know he's running Spell Pierce. That might not be the right move, but okay, we'll go with this. Got no problem with this hand. It's a turn 2 to Fairy, seems pretty good. Opponent took a mulligan. Alright, so it looks like he might be looking for lands. Wow, missed a land drop, that's brutal. And if that... whoops. That sucks. I don't think that punishes us too bad, but definitely not ideal. Alright, so he hit his land drop there. Okay. So here we probably play this. Here we go ahead.
This isn't
Bounce.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Like to see that. So this turn he might Burning Prophet plus Shock to Fairy. And then we get to kill that Burning Prophet with... okay. I think we're okay with that. So we need untap land here. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is cool. I've never actually gotten to use this card. Oh yeah. Get out of there. Very cool. Okay. So he takes that. I actually think instead of playing into Spell Pierce, I am going to just start drawing cards and hopefully just outvaluing him. He could be running Disdainful Stroke, Lightning Strike. Okay, we don't mind that at all actually, because we have a Tolson. I guess this wolf is a legendary creature, isn't it? So I guess maybe we don't like it that much. Alright, another Burning Prophet. And a Lava Coil. Got it. Let's get a little frisky there. So, we can... get in for 3. This matching probably lets that go through. Yep. And then play another Tolzimir. One of these Prophets, and we'll just go ahead and play this in a Paradise Druid. So we've got plenty of lethal attackers. Kefnet doesn't save him. Lava Coil doesn't save him. plays Kefnet, I'm taking it. So I don't really see a way out for him. He could have Lava Coil plus Lightning Strike, I guess, but then I think I might actually have enough mana to play Nissa plus and Entrancing Melody. Oh yeah. Well, that's just fantastic. I believe that's a 4-drop. Give me that, dude. You didn't want that. There we go. GG's. Alright, good win. Good stuff. Alright, so thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed some Bant manipulation. Deck felt pretty good. It doesn't have a whole lot of interaction other than the Prison Realms and Entrancing Melody, which, you know, Entrancing Melody seems really, really strong against mid-range decks. But it has a lot of ways of interacting. We didn't actually see Esper control, or a lot of Esper decks in general, so it's possible that we struggle a little bit against those, but that's why we have the Shifting Ceratops. But overall, it's definitely a fun deck. We played some really interesting strategies as well. Izzet Wizards with Kefnet and a blue-green Simic Rampy Omniscience decks where we never actually got to see what they were planning on doing with that Omniscience. It might be the Infinite Combo deck where they spam that with Flood of Tears, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, makes perfect sense. They played a Tameo, they did play a Flood of Tears, and they played Omniscience. So that's what it is. I think it's an Infinite Mill deck, if I'm not mistaken, but we beat that, and then we also beat a Gruul deck, I believe was our first one. Or I'm sorry, it was Naya Feather. That deck performed very well. We managed to beat it, but that deck has so much card draw with Season of Growth, it's insane. You really kind of sit there and watch the opponent play Magic for a while, which you wouldn't expect out of an aggressive deck like that, but it feels much more like a combo aggressive deck than it does your standard mono red or mono white type aggressive deck. So actually, it played really similar to the Izzet deck we just played against, where they're really only running a few creatures and just dozens of combat tricks to kind of continuously cycle through. But I think if you're going to play that type of deck, the Naya Feather deck performs much better than that Izzet deck. And granted, that was just one sample size of a match, but the Izzet deck focuses a little bit more on interaction with smaller creatures in the form of Lava Coil and Lightning Strike, and runs maybe potentially the same amount of cantrips with Opt and Crash Through, whereas the Feather deck has Defiant Strike to cycle through, and I think the opponent actually ran a few Crash Through, if I remember correctly. But anyways, 3 good games. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.